What's up, football fans? Today I'm breaking down something that everyone gets wrong about NFL betting. You know the narrative you hear every Thursday night? Oh, the home team has extra rest, they're gonna dominate. Well, I pulled the actual data using the NFL Read PY and the odds API, and I crunched the numbers on 272 NFL games across 2 seasons. And what I found is gonna flip everything you thought you knew upside down. We're talking about a betting strategy that delivered a 42% ROI swing over 2 seasons. And it's the exact opposite of what everyone's doing. So let's dive in. Alright, let's talk about rest differentials. In the NFL, not every team gets the same amount of rest in between games. Thursday night games, Monday night games, bye weeks, well, these create situations where one team might have 3, 4, even 10 days extra of rest. And I pulled game schedules and rest data using the NFL Read PY, and I matched them against the closing lines with the odds API, and I looked at 272 games. 27 of those games had the home team with 3 or more days of extra rest. 31 of those games had the away team with the rest advantage. In 214 games, the rest was equal. Now here's the $1,000,000 question. Does that rest actually help? Because conventional wisdom says yes. Players are fresher, they've had more practice time and fewer injuries. It should be an advantage, right? So I decided to test it against real betting lines and what happens when you bet on those rested home teams. Want to build the system for yourself? Here's the workflow. Step 1, I used the NFL Read PY to pull game schedules and actual game scores. I used the odds API to get the days of rest for each team, the home away designation, and the closing lines for each game. I then filter each game where the home team has 3 or more days of rest. I calculate against the spread results, and then I track ROI over time. I'm not selling you a pick service, I'm showing you the data and methodology, and you can verify every single number that I've shown you here today. Here's where it gets crazy. I tracked every single closing line and the actual result. When you bet on rested home teams, the smart money play that everyone talks about, you get a 37% cover rate and a negative 29.29% ROI. So if you were to bet $100 on all 27 games that season, you'd be down $870. That's not just bad, you're absolutely getting crushed. When you do the opposite, when you fade those rested home teams and take the road underdog with the closing line, you get a 63% cover rate in the 2025 season, a 20% ROI, and if you were to bet $100 on all those games, you turn a $600 profit. That's a 49% swing just by doing the opposite of what seems logical. Now I know what you're thinking. It's gotta be a fluke, right? A small sample size. Let me show you something. I didn't just test one season. I pulled the historical data going back to the 2024 season. In the same methodology, same data sources, I use the NFL Read PY for schedules, and I use the odd for rest calculations and closing lines. In the 2025 season, betting against rested home teams was a 20% ROI with 27 qualifying games. In the 2024 season, betting against the rested home team was a 13% ROI, another 27 games with that same pattern. When you combine both seasons, that's a 54 total games with a 16.67% ROI. Away teams covered 61% of the time. Now look at that consistency. The pattern holds across different seasons, teams, and matchups. In the 2025 season, away teams covered 63% of the time, and in the 2024 season, away teams covered 59.3% of the time, with a combined cover rate of 61.1%. Now that isn't just random noise, that's a legitimate market inefficiency that's been hiding in plain sight. Alright, how do we actually use this information? So here's my strategy. When the home team has 3 or more days of rest than the away team, bet the away team at the closing line. This covers 61% of the time over the past 2 years, which is elite in sports betting, and it's had a 16.67% ROI over 52 games across 2 seasons. And this works best in close games, spreads under 3 points. You can replicate this entire analysis by yourself using the NFL Read PY for games and rest calculations, and the odds, the premium subscription for the historical closing lines. Now there's some important caveats, and I need to be transparent here. When I ran the statistical significance test, the p-value came out to be 0.0668. That means we're at about a 90% confidence edge, not quite the gold standard of 95, but it's definitely not random chance. With 54 games across 2 seasons, we're seeing a strong, consistent pattern. But you'd want to continue tracking this over additional seasons to build up more confidence. That being said, 61% hit rate over 2 years across different matchups, teams, and situations is compelling evidence. Here's the bottom line. The NFL betting market is not perfectly efficient. Everyone thinks they're getting an edge betting on these rested teams, Thursday night favorites, the post-bye week darlings. But when you actually pull the data, the real schedules from NFL Read PY, and the real closing lines from the Odds API, and real results across 272 games in a season, the numbers tell a completely different story. 61% cover rate, 16.67% ROI, and 54 games of evidence across 2 seasons. Is this a guaranteed winner every time? Of course not. Sports betting doesn't work that way. But over time, consistently fading overvalued rested home teams puts the probabilities in your favor. If you found this analysis valuable, hit the like button and subscribe for more data-driven betting breakdowns. No hype, no BS, just real data, real methodology, and real results. Drop a comment below. Have you noticed this pattern? What other NFL betting narratives should I test with actual data? And hey, if you can replicate this analysis and you get different results, I want to hear about it. That's how we all get better. Until next time, be smart, follow the data, not the narrative.